What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to the channel. So I hope you're all staying safe and well out there. And of course, there is some news to talk about before we get into the preview for the game against West Ham down at the London Stadium this coming Saturday. That's going to be, of course, a 12:30 kick-off for that game. But we'll get into that in a moment. There is some news to talk about, and of course, it is the news revolving around Kieran Trippier. Now, of course, everybody knows he went at the RVI on Sunday night to go and get a scan after the game against Villa, of course, where he scored the winning free kick in the game. Unfortunately, it's bad news. You might have seen it already on other Newcastle fan channels. You might have seen it already by other media outlets as well. But it is bad news. He's going to be missing 6 to 8 weeks, unfortunately, as the scan results came back. And on the X-ray, it did show that Kieran Trippier has fractured his fifth metatarsal bone in his foot. So that is going to keep him out for 6 to 8 weeks, which does mean that he's going to miss quite a few of the upcoming games. Hopefully, the lad will be back in time for the remainder of the season, but at this moment in time, he's not going to be able to play for us. So there is news going around that he will be taking on a role similar to what David Beckham took on for England during the 2010 season, I think it was, for England. And of course, that role was where David Beckham just sat on the bench, kind of played a leader role, just to get the morale going in the team, keep the morale going in the team, talked to the players, motivated the players. And that is a similar role that Kieran Trippier is going to take whilst he does continue to try and recover from this metatarsal fracture. And, all I can say is get well soon, Trippier, mate. Hopefully it's not that long before you're back in the side, because, we really need you in there. His playmaking has been amazing since coming to the club from Atletico Madrid. But all I can say is, hopefully it's not that long before he's back in that lineup playing in the black and white shirt again. But moving on from that, let's talk about, of course, the upcoming game against West Ham down at the London Stadium. Now, this is a ground where Newcastle have had a bit of luck over the years. We have done some good stuff down there. And of course, like I say, it's going to be a 12:30 kick-off. There's 3,000 travelling Newcastle fans down for that game. And of course, Kieran Trippier isn't going to be the only one that is missing out on that game. There's also Matt Ritchie, obviously Callum Wilson as well, who Callum Wilson is a player, that always likes to score against West Ham. So it is a bit of a disappointing one to not see Callum Wilson being able to be in the starting lineup for this one. But we all know the situation with that. The fitness on fellow fullback as well, Javi Manquillo, is still yet to be announced. Hopefully we'll know a little bit more about that a little bit closer to the match. But at this moment in time, as I record this video on the 15th of February, the Tuesday before the game on the Saturday, of course, there is no news yet on the fitness of Javi Manquillo. Matt Targett will be available for the game. Of course, you only missed out on the game against Aston Villa because it is his parent club. And of course, due to the rules, you're not allowed to, of course, use loaned players against their parent clubs, as we all know. Federico Fernandez is nearing a return to full fitness, of course. And that is something that we would really like to see. Of course, we've got Dan Burn in there. Jamal Lascelles, of course, missed out on the game against Aston Villa as he had picked up some sort of illness, but it looks like he might be able to be available for the game against West Ham, but we'll have to wait and see as it gets closer. As I say, there's not much information out on the fitness of players yet, with it only being the 15th of February. Looking at West Ham for this game. Of course, David Moyes' side managed to salvage themselves a point on Sunday thanks to an extra time goal in a 2-2 game against none other than Leicester City. And of course, the current situation at the moment with the cat kicker that is Kurt Zouma. Of course, he was available to play against Brendan Rodgers' side, but was pulled out in the warm-up due to an illness. Now, I think that is just like a made-up lie, to be honest. I think what David Moyes is trying to do there is he's already played him. He got a bit of stick for playing him, of course. And I think now David Moyes is realising, maybe I should keep him out of the team for a bit until it all dies down. I don't think it's going to die down anytime soon, to be honest. When you've done something like that, it's pretty bad. Obviously, there's a lot of people have a lot of respect, and to do something like that is just really, really bad. Of course, if he did that in France, in his home country, he would be going to prison for that. In England, he should go to prison for that. For, of course, animal abuse, it's no joke, and there's a lot of kids that look up to him, and it's just pathetic that a player like that, has done something like that. It's just absolutely ridiculous and disgusting, to be honest. And it is a person, that is a lover of cats and also a lover of pets. I just don't agree with that at all. What he did in that video, it was just absolutely disgusting and horrible to watch. It really does make you feel very, very angry watching it. And it's the right move by David Moyes if he is keeping him out of the team to cool it down. But I don't think keeping him out of the team, is going to really cool it down, to be honest. People are still going to know that he did that, and I think his time's done, to be honest, I think, in the Premier League now, with that whole situation. But we'll wait and see what happens as time goes on. But the Hammers have won more points away from home this season, all by having played one more game on the road, taking 20 from a possible 36 at the London Stadium. That came from 6 wins against Leicester, Spurs, Liverpool, Chelsea, Norwich City and Watford. 2 draws, of course, against Palace and Brighton, and 4 losses, 1 against Man U, Brentford, Southampton and Leeds United. And of course, the referee for this game is going to be Chris Kavanagh, the Lancashire-based whistler, making a hasty reappearance, having taken charge of our last away game at Leeds United at Elland Road. Of course, we all know what happened there, with Newcastle coming away from that game as the winners. So hopefully, he will be a good luck charm for it, and we will be able to come away from the London Stadium with all 3 points in the bag as well. Jared Gillette, who is going to be on 4 for the game, but we'll know VAR's usually turned off for Newcastle games, but we did get a bit of luck with it in the Aston Villa game, so maybe things are starting to change, and maybe we are starting to get a little bit more favourable decisions towards it. Who knows? Looking at the past 4 games down at the London Stadium, of course, we won the last 2. We won 2-0 last season, with Wilson and Hendrick scoring the goals. 3-1 the season before that. 3-2, the season before that, with Clark, Fernandez and Shelby picking up the goals. A 2-0 loss in the 18-19 campaign, and a 3-2 win in the 17-18 campaign, with Sivat, Diami and Atsu scoring the goals. The last time we've lost, of course, was the 18/19 campaign, which was, of course, the 2-0 loss, like I just said. All I can say is, hopefully we can continue on what we're doing at this moment in time. If we do, it will take it to 6 games unbeaten. It will be the 4th successive win of the season for it as well. Fingers crossed, lads and lasses, we can do it. Fingers crossed we can keep this momentum going. At this moment in time, we are currently on 21 points. So that is absolutely amazing. We've done some really good work of late. And let's hope it continues. We need it to continue. We need to push higher up, away from this relegation zone. And, hopefully it can continue. Obviously, Kieran Trippier news has put a little bit of a negative spin towards it, but hopefully, that can be changed, and hopefully we can push on and push away from this relegation zone. Like I say, at 21 points at the moment, I think what we've got to get to is about 30 plus points, and I think we'd be safe in the Premier League for another season. let's face it, lads and lasses, once we're safe this season, this is never going to happen again. We're never going to be flirting with relegation again. It's only like this at the moment because of the previous ownership and the previous manager, if you want to call him that, who was in the role beforehand. But that is the match preview for the game against West Ham. I hope you liked it. If you did, please hit a thumbs up on it. Until next time, like I say, remember to like and subscribe to the channel, as it does help the channel to grow, and I am trying to reach that 1k subscriber milestone. I'm currently at 727 subscribers, so if you could scan that QR code just here with your phone, it would help the channel to grow. Until next time, I'll see you all later. Keep safe, lads and lasses, and how are the lads?